9 tomorrow morning? Okay, yep. Oh, we're gonna meet over there? Okay. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You got the procedure tonight. Let me get mine turned on here too, so that we all have the speakers right in front of us, the microphones, I should say. So it sounds like we'll have this one on all the time, and then we'll have to cycle back and forth as we do the polls for the motions and different things like that. So it's just a short press of the button turns it on, and also a short push of the button turns it off. So, and then anybody from the when they come up to take and talk to the commission, we'll ask them to come to this microphone up here and talk into it, so that everything gets recorded basically as we proceed through. So hopefully this solution will take and help us with the being able to hear when the people out there are listening. So has all the commissioners had a chance to be able to take a look at the minutes from the last commission meeting? And if so, could I get a motion to take and select?
I'll make a motion. I'll move to approve the August 2nd and August 9th minutes. I'll second it.
Okay, and Levi did that one. You're making me work here, Ashley, this is tough. Okay, so now, another procedural change that we're gonna make tonight is that we got a request basically to make sure that as we go through and pull the commissioners for the motions, that we don't start with the same person all the time, so that we have a chance to mix it up and nobody is consistently last to make up their minds. So, on the first motion, Mike,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
and a yes for me. On the second one, Dave,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and a yes for me.
Was it two motions? I just thought I moved to approve all of them at once.
Well, we had a motion before that from Dave, so, on the first one, didn't we?
No, I think I spoke, but I don't think I spoke loud enough, and Levi made the motion, and I seconded it, so.
Okay, so we'll just go to one motion then. Which motion am I gonna have to take and keep off here then? There we go.
And that was for the minutes.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to take and pay the bills and take a look at all the bills and stuff, make sure that there's no questions there? If so, do I have a motion to take and accept the presentation of bills as provided?
I'll motion to approve the bills.
Mike makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Levi seconds. And going around this time, Levi,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
and a yes for me. Disconnects, has everybody had a chance to take a look at the disconnects? Are there any questions?
I'll move to approve the September, or August disconnects.
And I'll second it.
Dave seconds. Okay, any other discussion on that? Hearing none. Mike?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Levi?
Yes.
And a yes for me. Okay, city commissioners' reports. Let's start with you, Mike.
Your mic's not on, Mike, I don't think.
We had North Dakota Forestry Service. It's on, isn't it?
Was it?
Do a survey of town on the trees and stuff, and we got the report back. And this is for boulevard trees and park trees. They have about a $40,000 cost in removal of trees and replacement of trees on boulevards. And they've got us down for, it turns out it's about 27,000 in tree removal and 13,000 in tree replacement, and that's on a 5-year plan. And the Forestry Service offers a cost share. What it is, I don't know, but you have to apply for it. But they've got a 5-year plan in here, so we apply for it every year as we do things, so.
Did they give a reason for why the boulevard trees should be removed and
Well,
replaced?
I think it's, that we have way too many ash trees in town, so we have a lot of ash trees that are dying off on the tops and stuff. And which trees they are, I don't know for sure. You have to contact them to find out for sure which trees they are, but it's something we haven't done for a long time, so it's something we probably need to look at to start next year,
Okay.
so.
Any other questions from commissioners? We don't have to start until next year. We'll have to put that in a budget.
And I
we
think
should
it's
probably-
in February, March, when they have you apply for that money from them, so.
And maybe we should post it online so everybody can see which trees may be affected by their property.
Yeah, and these would be just on the boulevards, these
Yep.
wouldn't be anything in the yards, so. And that's all I got.
Okay, Dave?
I don't have a lot. I just had a question on cleanup. You know, I know you guys have formed the committee, but there's a couple spots in town here I noticed just in the last week. Now, one place has got 2 abandoned cars sitting in front of their house, and one has got drug a car in that's all torn apart, parts sticking out the windows, and now they've got a tarp over the top of it. And plus the one yard's got a 55-gallon drum, and they were burning piles of wood in it on Thursday afternoon. Now, the cars, is that something that the sheriff's department should be taking care of, or? I know the burn barrel, there's an ordinance against that.
I saw that on Friday, and I went down and did you call the sheriff's department on that, Ashley?
Yeah, we did on both. Des called on both the cars that you guys told us about and the burn barrel, and they
Okay.
were gonna send somebody over there.
Okay, problem solved. That's all I have.
It was
Thank
burning.
you.
It was still
You're
burning
welcome.
on Friday, so.
Yeah, I know it was. He was spraying it down with a hose when I went by there,
Oh.
so. But thank you guys for taking care of it. Appreciate it.
Levi?
We have the committee, it didn't go out until last Friday in the paper, and I don't think it's been put on the website yet, so I was hoping to have some names, but it, like I said, it just went out for that committee. The pool, this will be probably our last full week of the pool, and our hope is, as long as you guys approve it, we spent, I think it was about $45,000 on the first project. We have enough materials to redo the small pool, but it'd be the labor costs involved in that. So as long as I get the blessing, I'd like to start on it this fall, tearing it out, so that we can see what we need to do and get that remedied, because I think by doing what we did at the big pool, Kathy had told me that she's hardly adding water, just a maintenance type thing. I think if we do that small pool, we'll end up probably getting much lower on our water usage, because that one wall Jack had said when he was patching was pretty bad. So we may have to do some concrete fixing on the small pool. And
So that's the $3,841? Is that the same stuff you're gonna use to take and fix it with?
no, we haven't spent any money on, no.
Well, what's this pool sea clear scrim paper crack sealer?
The pool sea clear is a chemical to keep the water where it
Okay,
needs to.
so that's gonna go in for next year? I'm just trying to figure out, this was an expenditure for what we got this year.
Well, what I'm asking for is for you guys to give me the okay to at least get Jack started to tear it out, so we can see where we're at and see how much money we need to spend. As far as supplies, he had ordered enough of the paint and all those things that we shouldn't need any more of that. It'll all be labor costs, and if we get help with it again, our labor costs will be considerably less.
Do you have an estimate?
I won't know, like I said, I don't know until we pull it out. So we need to pull it out first.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Well, I think we should pull it out, and if we can do something this fall, that moves us that much farther ahead for next year, so.
Right.
If we can patch it.
Are the funds there to do it?
I'm not sure where we're totally at on the pool. I doubt it, but
Can you give us an estimate if he pulls the liner out?
that was my thought, is that pull it out, get an estimate, and then come back and see kind of where we're at.
We put it in for 2022 budget
For what?
for the small pool, the little pool, is what we put it in the budget for.
So it's not gonna cost us anything till next year anyway if we pull it out, right?
Possibly, yeah. But the other thought is that if we do it this fall, we may have a better luck getting it done compared to next spring, because we don't know what our spring is going to be like.
Well, get an estimate and see what it's gonna cost first.
But as long as you approve the tear out, that's where I got to start. So
Well, I guess he won't know until he tears it out to see what's in there. That's basically.
right.
Yeah, I would say go ahead and tear it out.
So Mike's made the motion. Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Oh, no, I gotta go back here.
I think it's Dave's turn.
No, it's Mike's turn. Mike,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes,
and a yes for me. Okay? Anything else, Levi?
that is it for tonight.
All I got is just a reminder that we have the airport fly-in and community days on the 25th of August. There's short rides for donations of preferably $25. We'll show off all the new hangars, the simulator and all those things, and the Cruisin' Cafe will be out there serving supper, so we'd like to make sure that everybody's invited and show up and see how that new airport's gonna help out the city of Hillsboro, so. Okay, moving on to the city officers. Jim?
Nothing tonight.
Just a reminder that we will be meeting tomorrow at 9 o'clock for the Loyal Avenue drainage situation. Mike and I will be there and we'll meet you. I did send out a couple of texts to try to get people to come that are in the neighborhood over there, so we'll be set. Okay? 9 o'clock, right on the curb there is where we'll meet. John?
Nothing.
Okay? That means we're not in trouble then.
I don't think we are.
Ashley?
Okay. For the public hearing for the budget is set for 6:30 PM on September 20th. Julie and Glenda said it's usually on the second meeting in September, so Glenda needed a date and time, so that's the one we picked. The Sandbow claim is still sitting with insurance. They have discussed with Julie and Jim and they were gonna talk to Mrs. Sandbo, and I haven't heard anything back, so that one's still, sitting with insurance. And then, we need to do the first reading to approve the $500 license fee for just the brew pub, because that was not put in our amended ordinances, how much we charge for that. And Julie, Terry and I sat down and looked at all the licenses that we have, and Julie, I think, contacted, was it Valley City? And that's what they charge for a brew pub, and so, talking with John right before the meeting, we just need a first reading if you guys approve at that price. Just for the brew pub license.
I'll move for a first reading of amending the brew pub ordinance to add $500 per year fee.
I'll second it.
So I just have to ask a question. So is there 2 readings, John, that we have to do before we can actually get the license?
There would be 2 readings before the ordinance has a $500 charge. Second reading could be in a week from tonight. It can't be sooner than that.
The reason I asked, just so the other commissioners know, I was planning on getting all the licenses on the 1st of September. So we'd have to have a special meeting then?
Yes.
Otherwise, I could wait. We prorate it to the first meeting in September. That would be the other alternative.
I think you're right, yes.
Aren't they due on September 15th for the second meeting? I thought that's when
It
we.
probably is.
It's the
this-
middle of September. Because I know last year, it was right after I started that, it was the week I started, Julie was working on them.
And then the 30th of September is when the new licenses for the year come out.
I think that's the effective date normally approved at that second meeting in September. But yes, we would definitely need to figure out a proration for that short period of time prior to the first full year.
Yep. I just wanted you to know, because I did make a commitment for a big event on the 17th of September, so I definitely would have to have the licenses then, so. On the other hand, I could go ahead with the alcohol one separately versus the brew pub one, but the food is important for that big event, so, okay. Just, that's background for the commissioner, so I'll have to let it go, so. Levi did you make the motion?
Yes, and Mike seconded.
Okay, in this one here, we got Dave,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I have to abstain. Okay, Ashley?
That's all I got.
Okay. And did we get the sheriff's report this month? Okay. Moving on to old business, 7.1, special election. Need to pick a time and place. And we have the date already, so we'll walk through the process again. So Ashley, I'll let you kind of cover that.
Okay, so we got November 16th, and Glenda came over and went over some stuff with me. And she said generally they do it from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And she suggested, and I agree with her, to probably do it within the community center.
Okay. So you go ahead and schedule it for here.
Those are her recommendations.
I'll
Yep.
move that we have our special election from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the, what date was it again?
November 16th.
November 16th here at the community center.
I'll
Levi makes a
second.
motion and Mike seconds. Okay, this time it's Mike,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
and a yes for me. Okay, Verizon cameras for the landfill pricing options. Levi, I think that's you?
I thought Des, or I had asked her to check on prices, but she must misunderstood. This sheet that you have is the camera that it would be, because it'll be different pricing from what general public can get. But it's $16.66 a month for 24 months, so if you do the math on that, that's what the camera itself costs. And then it's about $20 a month for the hookup fee. And if we ever wanted to add more cameras, if they want them at the shop, you could add them in. They don't necessarily have to be LTE cameras, they can be Wi-Fi, because we have that at the shop.
Does this go on to a DVR then too?
It goes onto the
The
cloud.
cloud.
Yep. You can have a SD card in it, so it'll save it on there too, but it goes up to the cloud. So if there was ever a time where the internet went down or the cell tower went down, it would save it to the SD card and then upload it to the internet.
And then Jim would have it, the alert in his office?
Whichever phone it's set up on. You could have it set up on every one of their phones or just one, it's just logging in.
Have you thought through that, Jim, how you'd like to do it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
And then I forgot to put in here, but the charger or the solar chargers, I think it was $75 for that, so.
A month or just flat rate?
Just a flat
rate.
one-time purchase.
Oh, okay.
Commissioners, what do you think?
It should have a solar charger, shouldn't it, if you're gonna?
Yeah, otherwise you gotta be changing batteries all the time, so.
So it does have a solar charger?
It doesn't come with it, you have to add it on.
Okay.
So it would be $36 a month basically for the first couple of years?
Well, yeah, I would guess. I don't think it would be any more than that, because I assume the government contracts would be, like I said, this is for a personal plan. So that's why I was gonna have Des check into what the government rate was, based on our plan that we already have.
And then if we have the new skeet and trap team go out there, is there any special procedures we'd have to work with them?
I don't think so. I don't know if that's gonna come to fruition. There's some other spots that people have, now we've been going, showing us a few more options, so.
Okay.
We're trying to get the best option together when we're working on this.
So we're doing this because people have been going into the dump ground, is that basically why we're doing this, or?
And dumping stuff that they shouldn't, if a contractor has it or somebody else gets in there, then they ended up, if there's metal in there that shouldn't be in there or something else, just to keep an eye on what's going in and out of there.
And that
So-
does happen. John goes out there and checks it, and then he'll
Okay.
call us and ask who got the dump key.
So is there some enforcement backing it up if we, as far as,
They're asked to clean it up, and if they don't, then they're not allowed out there anymore.
okay,
Be nice to have a fine that would pay for the system.
yeah, yeah.
And you, Jim, you would think it's a positive to have one?
Well, I think it's worth a try. I mean, if you go a year and figure it just, you can always cancel the plan. It's just a cell phone plan, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Try it for a year and see how it goes. I mean, it might be good.
Okay, do I have a motion to take and, for $36 a month, put a Verizon camera? The government rate should be cheaper than the personal one, right?
Right, and that's why I wanted to check into it, because
Okay.
I wasn't sure, so.
So for $36 a month, and the solar charger we can use on anything else too, so, that's a $75 one-time buy. So do I have a motion for the approximately $37 a month in charges and a one-time buy of a solar charger for $75 for the landfill.
I'll move to purchase or lease the camera for up to 24 months or full purchase price, whichever works out best.
We have a motion. Do I have a second?
And the solar charger.
I'll second it.
Mike seconds it. And Mike,
Yes.
Dave,
Yes.
Levi,
Yes.
and a yes for me too. That takes care of all the old business, no new business. And so
Terry,
citizens,
could we just go back to 7.1 for a
Sure.
bit? I missed, did we pass a motion in terms of the time and the place? Okay, so if you could just let the minutes reflect that it's a resolution that we approved instead of a motion. For some reason, the statute says that you set the place for the, you set the polling place by resolution, not by motion. So I didn't get a chance to jump in there
So
on that,
just
so.
put that in instead of motion, put resolution?
Yep.
Okay.
Do we have to send out or approve that we need to hire a committee for the canvassing board and who our workers will be?
I did call, I got a hold of 2 people, I got 2 judges, I'm just waiting on a call back for an inspector, and I have a couple other people I can call for inspectors also.
Okay.
So that would be the first step, and then the canvassing board would be after the fact. And if you look at the statute, it basically says a minimum of 5 people have to canvass. You can have more. Maybe the answer is to have the 4 city commissioners, and then the auditor and the attorney have to be a part of it. So with 6, why, I think
Okay.
that would be a logical way to handle it.
okay. And so that takes care of that. Then we got that, and it's going to be the community center 7 to 7 on November 16th. Okay. Now it's time. Is there anybody, any citizens out there that want to take and address anything? Rick, you got to go to the microphone.
I sit here, I just have to talk frequently today, and I don't get up and down very well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yep.
Okay. I've got a 2-part question, and I'm asking this only because I don't understand it quite. Maybe from what I read in the paper. And my question is directed at Mike and David. You personally both told me, and I know you've told others, there would never be any money spent on the west side of town until our needs and wants were taken care of on the east side. Am I correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Okay,
all.
now, my question is this, because I want to make sure that I read it correctly in the paper. What about the electrical amount that we're going to spend over on the west side of town? And I'm not sure as to exact what amount of that is actually needed on that side of town and what is for the new project. My second question is, the taxes that were being increased on the east side of town, is that for the streets, the lights, or is that going to be help pay for the electrical bid? And that's my questions, and I would just like an answer to it, because I want to know for sure, and I know that what you guys said is going on. Or do you really know what part of it is going to the west side, and what part of it's going to be to the east side? How much are we going to be paying for it? Because you both said emphatically there won't be a dime spent over there until all the needs are being taken care of here. That's my question.
I think a lot of the electrical, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, is for the
Anchor.
anchor out there, correct?
Yeah, it's for all, it doesn't, regardless whether it's commercial or residential, we need to expand, and we need to make sure that we have the right equipment and, per se, grid to run whatever is needed out there.
So the anchor is gonna, I was told it was a small part of it, but I don't know, Jim. So I know what you're saying, when you expand, you have to add power to it, but how much of this is exactly expansion and what part of it is actually, to your knowledge, is the anchor?
Of the money that was allocated for the electric,
300 and some thousand, or 200 and some thousand, what is it?
we don't know yet. We haven't got estimates for it. My biggest worry is not just of the development, but you get a big commercial business come in and say, we need this much power. Well, we can't supply that. What do we do, turn them away? I think Hillsboro needs to plan for the future and be prepared for any type of expansion, whether it's commercial or residential or industrial out there.
And just to follow up on it, Rick, that, you know, it wasn't just Anchor, it was also Dagelman's that had a couple of, you know, outages. So basically, you know, that was kind of the current cause of why we had to take a look at it. The actual, you know, residential development, that's all going to be new infrastructure that's put in, so it would be hooked up no matter what. You know, and then also part of that we talked about at the last commission meeting was the substation down here, about how we might be able to take and tie it across and give us more capability, you know, basically instead of counting on just the one substation that we have in the northwest part of the city. But Jim's right, if we have another chance, now that we have natural gas going into the industrial park, available for the industrial park, the electricity commitments could be quite high if you get another big, you know, manufacturer or some sort of you know, value-added ag type of an operation out there. They're going to have electricity and stuff too. So as part of the strategic planning that we got to do to make sure that we have everything available to take and draw those businesses to come into town too. So
You have to remember that we just brought a brand-new water treatment plant online 6 years ago, and our water treatment plant is our biggest user, bigger than the hospital and the school. And that might have taken our limit right to that point, and then just a little bit of expansion over there took us over that. Like I said, we need to prepare for that.
So, Jim, do you feel that by what we're doing now, that will take care of this development too then? I mean, do you think we'll have enough?
Well, we need to plan for that.
No, but what I'm asking, I'm sure maybe you don't even know yet, but do you feel in your own mind that will take care of what without a big business expansion, with residential and that, do you think that we'll have enough power then to take care of that area?
I think so, but, you know, you may develop that, you may get a couple more commercial accounts out there and then realize you need to expand more. I mean, that's what cities do. When their cities grow, they need to expand the electric system, so.
and you have to remember, we've put money into the infrastructure this year of what we put $120,000, you know, using that rebate from Missouri River Energy Services. So we have been upgrading, you know, here on this side of town too. There's a lot more to do. Anybody that drives down the alleyways can see there's a lot of poles that are leaning beyond the 15 degrees. So
And
but that
some
goes
of
back
that,
to
and
our strategic
yeah.
planning that we need to do
And
to make sure we're
some of
ready.
that money that was in that budget number is for that, for stuff in town here on this side.
And then how about
Those are rough numbers. We just use those for budget reasons. I
Yeah.
mean, we don't know. I mean, it could be $50,000 to get more power over there. We don't know yet.
And we had to keep it high because we can't
Yeah.
make it higher than the second one. So, you know, we put a little cushion in there too.
to answer bring up the second part, the raising the taxes on the east side of town, what is that money going to be used for?
Infrastructure. We're getting ready to do the streets and all those things next year. We had that discussion when we did the budgeting. So we'll have a prioritized list of streets that need to be done. That would probably include the street signs that we've talked about in the past. Obviously, there's a lot of electrical that needs to be revamped and upgraded. You know, and who knows, with this drainage deal that we're working on Loyal Avenue, all those things have to be taken care of. So that's all part of what we consider the infrastructure upgrades that we need.
I just wanted to know.
Yep.
Can I add something, Terry? Mark, please correct me if I'm wrong, but the property taxes, they are going up because of the assessments of the property, are they not?
Well, that was a big part of it, but the other part was that when because I've been helping Ashley best I can, not to say that I was very good at doing budgets at all, but I've been trying to help Ashley, and a lot of the things that I saw in working with the budget was that I think the previous auditor, not saying that he did it right or wrong versus when I would do the budget, but it was just some weird things going on there, and there are certain things the city has to levy taxes for, and that wasn't being done. So while the taxes, yes, are going up, they never should have ever went down. They should have at least stayed the same, is what I saw. And, you know, and the other thing too was, you know, here a year ago, we voted on 6 votes for the recreation district. You know, that wasn't, you know, that wasn't in place so much last year was this year. So, you know, that's the real reason why the taxes were going up. It was one to make up, you know, the general fund was in a big deficit state. So I'm sorry, Rick, I'm sitting here. You guys not hearing me?
Yep,
I'm sorry.
no,
And the general fund was in a state of deficit, so some of that needed to be made back too. And the reason for that was that some of the things that you can levy mills for in the general fund weren't getting levied for. You know, like levying for the city's share of Social Security. I couldn't really see where that was getting done. So there's some catch up here too, but yes, property values went up too. So that's why you're kind of seeing, you'll see that increase. The budget, you know, all total, I think it was a $10,000 or $20,000 increase in property taxes collected.
23.
$23,000 in total collections, which equals 7%. So property taxes collected by the city are by far one of the smaller, more insignificant dollar amounts collected. So
If it was 23,000, and the rec district budget was at 20,000, so there is a majority there. But we haven't even, or I haven't seen the actual mills of what we're going up yet.
you are going to go up to mills.
Well, I mean, I haven't, our mills or value, or I haven't seen any of the numbers yet.
I sent you guys all the preliminary budget I sent in. I emailed it the other day.
Okay.
And it should all be in that Schedule A.
I guess I
A or B.
didn't look at it again because I assumed it was what you had
Oh.
already given us, so.
Oh, sorry.
And the larger issue is if we do a complete, you know, go through all the properties in Hillsboro like have been recommended, to reassess that, and it's tough for a small town to do that because, you know, it's the variety of homes that we have available, new versus old, and all those things. So there's, that could be kind of a surprise factor that we'd have to consider in the future too. So, but I think the county is looking at trying to do the complete, you know, appraisal of the whole city. Chuck, you had a question?
Yes, I got a question, following up on Rick's, and I don't know that I heard what I wanted to hear. I think he specifically asked what, and Jim can probably answer this, forgetting about anything else out there, what would it cost to provide power to the Pioneer outfit that apparently had a problem? If they just, say that was out in the country house, and they just wanted to fix that part of it, there was no town involved. What are you looking at, $50,000?
I don't know, Chuck. I don't have the numbers for that either.
Well, I don't either, but for 20 years, I sold equipment for seed plants, fertilizers, elevators like out here at Alton, 150 horse motors. Some small hick towns in western North Dakota where I traveled, and they ran into this at numerous elevators when they expanded that, oh my God. But Otter Tail or Mid Basin, or whoever was out there, I got the figures at home. I know it wasn't $250,000 to do it. And I'm just curious, somebody in electrical engineering should be able to tell us for our own peace of mind. Whatever you do out there, I think you've already got it set in stone in your own minds that we gotta have for the benefit of the city and all that, but
No, I think that, I don't want.
We have one, Chuck, we have one line crossing the interstate that supplies power to everything out there. Once you max that line out, you can't push any more electricity through that line.
And
So
we're-
do you abandon that, increase that line, or do you supply a complete separate circuit line so that you have two circuits now running out there? That's the logical thing to do, and that's what we're planning.
And Jim's got a short-term workaround for it, but it was blowing the big fuses. They maxed out the fuses out there, and once those circuits opened up, because of the draw, that was the issue.
We
And
can-
so
we can
we did the
keep-
short-term
yeah.
fix, but we gotta figure out exactly what it's gonna cost.
We can keep Anchor going, but what happens when someone else comes on, or Anchor wants to add another bay or an expansion, which they're already talking? It gets to a point where physically the line isn't big enough to handle the amount of electricity going through. It would be like a redundant water line. Another circuit out there would give us that safety redundancy to supply whatever we need out there. It's
so in
just,
other words, Anchor didn't break their breakers on their equipment. It was the city's wires that failed? Is
They-
that what you're telling me?
they brought the load up to a max where the equipment we have couldn't handle it.
By the equipment, what do you mean, the wires or?
Wires and fuses, correct. Okay, next thing that goes are elbows and transformers. You
Yeah,
can't
see-
you can't just patch that, but
Well, and I don't know a thing about electricity, I do know out in the hip towns out there, they had to bring in sometimes 3 new transformers, big ones. You know, because they had the power coming to the wire, they also had to have them located in the close vicinity of the manufacturing place or the elevator, or whatever it was. All I want to ascertain is what we're doing is for the benefit out there rather than just a Band-Aid so we can make everybody happy.
there is an alternative. Next time somebody comes to Hillsboro and wants to build out there, we can say, we can't supply you with power, call NODAC. They have a line out there, maybe you can hook onto NODAC. If we
But then
want to
we
do that,
lose-
that's an option, but
But we lose the,
I think our electric system has been a big asset to the city of Hillsboro
Yeah.
all these years.
Granted it is, and I'm all for it, I have been for years, just so that next year at this time, we got 5 new houses out there. Oh my God, we gotta have another 250,000 now on the electrical end of it.
no, I think what we
We're trying
did
to do
was-
it, we're trying to plan for a reasonable, it's like planning for, you can plan for a 25-year flood or a 50-year flood. Can't plan for a 100-year flood because it's too expensive. So we just need to take it one step at a time. And we will look at our options and our costs and then decide if that's the best thing to do.
On this suggested price, was that come from an engineer, or was that a figure that?
That came from Missouri River Energy Services, one of our suppliers.
Yeah,
Okay, and it's just a rough estimate for budget reasons.
that's what I wanted to
Okay,
know.
And it's the whole city. So,
yeah.
and we just repaired the generators.
It's
What did we spend,
gen-
about 13,000 on
yeah,
the generators?
and substations were worked on, and so, yeah, it's things that, since I've been here over 25 years, that have never been done. And our system is at the point where we need to start doing stuff.
Rick?
My goal isn't to keep you here all night. I just got one more question. The development out here, do we have any new homes that are going to, do you know anything that's gonna be built out there now, whether it be industrial, commercial, or
I haven't checked with John. I had an email from him, John Lowry. I think the plan that they have is that there will be, the lift and stuff is going in, so I assume that there's gonna be foundations and probably structures started to hopefully finish over the wintertime. It all depends upon the weather, but I will take a note of it, Rick, and I'll take and call them and actually ask where he's at and if there's any firm starts. I know that they've asked me if they can go across the acreage that I have to start the twin homes up on the north side, so I assume that they're gonna be going as soon as they get some of that infrastructure available for them, so.
How about commercial? Like, I know you were talking about a brewery and some of the others, is that still a goal out there?
Yep. Yep.
So we'll see some use of that power.
Yeah, it won't be probably 2 years down the road by the time my project gets started, but I am buying the land, yeah. I should say Deb and I are buying the land, so. And then I just wanted to kind of follow up too, Chuck, that it's not just the electrical infrastructure that I think that Jim and some of us are going to sit down and try to come up with more of a strategic plan over the next 5 years, because I'll give you an example. In the new brew pub, I'm probably going to have to dig up the street and put in a new sewer line that goes into the city one, because the old line isn't draining like when we put the new sleeve into it. There's a low spot, so obviously I don't want it to back up and plug. So those are unexpected, expenses that we have to come to, but Jim explained it, if you have it going in and a saddle on the top of the pipe, it's a lot better than the way they did it in the old days where they drilled it into the side of the pipe. So, I just want to caution, we want to draw businesses to downtown Hillsboro, but, there are obstacles that sometimes pop up that you don't think of. So even our storm drains and some of those things, we have to spend some money to get that. There's no reason that those folks on the curve at Loyal should have to put up with the kind of water that they do after a big rain. Of course, I'd like a big rain now, but those are the types of things that we want to talk about tomorrow. So that's all infrastructure that we talk about that has to be improved.
That's fine, you're gonna talk about Loyal Avenue tomorrow. You know how long Loyal Avenue's been out there? Well, we got streets on my side of town that have been there probably 3 times that long. When are they gonna get addressed?
That's the engineering survey that they're doing for all these streets and all those things. That should include all that.
Is there gonna be a public meeting showing that 604 or 7th Street or whatever it is gonna have to have new curb and raise the street 8 inches? Or is this just gonna be a good fellow project that, hey, he needs it and that guy can wait?
Oh, I don't play that kind of game, Chuck. It's going to be open and to the public. We're gonna take, and after that information comes from the city engineer, he's going to sit here and he's going to talk about the priorities. It's the same way as we do the strategic planning. We'll be able to take and say, open it up to the public. These are the things that we prioritize, and it might be the electrical next year. Like I say, there's a number of things, but no, we'll do it in public. It's not going to be the good old boys network.
Okay, I'm just asking because in the past, I've seen it happen. And that's no reflection on your part there, don't put yourself.
Okay. Anything else out there? Paul?
You want to debate on janitor, did you find a janitor for the Harmon?
Mike and I put a ad out, and we have the closing date the 20th of this month, and so far we have not received any applications. I have had a couple of contractors that own their own cleaning business have contacted me, and I just jot down their rates and stuff, and I let them know that I will let them know as soon as we find out if we get any applicants and after the commission decides. But I didn't bring any of that with because I want to keep it open until the 20th, like we had posted in the paper.
Thank you.
One last reattack, Chuck.
No, I've asked in the 3 meetings now, the electric car charging. Is there a report on
Oh,
that?
I forgot to ask about that.
Des and I looked at it, and it's really hard to gauge a price right now when we're doing it for free. So I can bring the reports that are generated on the computer for me, but we don't have anything set, so it's really hard to pull what possibly could be. I can tell you that if we were charging, it wouldn't be bringing in a lot of money right now.
I realize that, I was just a general
Yeah.
question, wanting to know.
And I had printed some out for last meeting, and then I forgot, and I even had a note for myself to print them out for this one, and it's sitting on my desk, the note is, so. But if you wanna come up to my office, Chuck, and I can show you what I look at.
Great to me. One last question. The people running for office, the NPC, are they fully aware of all the benefits that they can get if they come to be an office holder? You know, there's stuff that I don't even know that, the city employees, can do and whatever, rather than just come here and attend a meeting and get a check once in a while for whatever. Shouldn't there be something put in the paper that if you want to run for city commission and do your citizenship right, you will be reimbursed X many dollars per month like all commissioners other than the mayor, that you have free use of equipment from the city, that you have,
We have free use of equipment?
That's what I was just gonna ask.
I don't think that's one that we use. I don't get to,
What about, I've also heard that then there's, individuals can go to the city shop and get a vehicle, or not a vehicle, a piece of implement and use it, that it's available for taxpayers.
I haven't done that, so anybody
Who-
done
who-
that?
Are all four of you sitting there saying that this isn't the policy?
I
That's
know
not-
of no policy.
Yeah,
that
that's not in the
says that.
handbook.
Well, ask Jim, is it?
I don't know about the commissioners, the city employees are allowed to use equipment.
Well, I said, and even residents.
You'd have, I guess you're gonna have to tell me who
Well-
you know that.
Basically, and this happened last winter, a local contractor in town was using the backhoe across the street. This was not personally witnessed only by me, but two other people that were standing in front of the lumberyard. And the comment I got.
As far as I know, Chuck, there was a city employee there running that backhoe.
Well, as far as I know, and I'm getting old and I don't see too good, you can check with Adam Smeldon, myself, and another gentleman, and, it was the man that owns that property running it. And I'm just wondering, you know, by God, I got things I could use a piece of equipment for if it's open to grabs for employees, or if it's, employees I have no problem with. If Jim has got to take a backhoe home and move a pile of dirt, he's working for the city regardless, he should be entitled to some benefits. But should people be able to use the city's lawnmower, or per se the city's snow blower, the small one, for their own private use?
There is no policy, but they shouldn't be.
Who answered that?
Dave
I
did.
did.
Well, I think you're gonna get it right on the head, there might not be any policy, but there should be a policy.
But I'm not aware of anybody this is the first I've heard of it.
Okay? That's fine, 'cause I'm not alone, like I say, I got on the backhoe, two other guys that witnessed it on the blowing of snow with a city, this was 2 years ago. And it didn't bother me that he was doing his own house, but when he went to do his business, that kind of irritated me a little bit. Nobody gives me a snow blower to use. But anyway, I think some of these things should be spelled out for the guy that's gonna be sitting in the chair next to Mike there, that, hey, this is what the benefits are here. You get whatever it is, insurance, you get, whatever. Because a lot of people are sitting back and thinking, that's a thankless job, why do I wanna, do it? And, I know it's a thankless job, but still, we got good people do it, that's what we wanna keep up with.
Well, I think the only thing that we have is basically the partial stipend that does it. Now, we will have to revisit I think that we said that we were gonna grandfather in, the people that were getting the insurance, but any new commissioners, we were basically gonna drop that. That's going back a while, but, so I think that, and I can't remember if we made it official and we put it in the handbook or not, but, we had the discussion about, we were gonna grandfather the health insurance, but any new commissioners basically weren't gonna be getting the health insurance. I, for example, I have my own insurance, so I didn't take any insurance when I got the job. So all I get is the stipend, that's the partial stipend. That's all that a commissioner, that's all.
Anybody, including current commissioners that rerun and get elected, they won't get
No, they'd be grandfathered. If they're a commissioner now, that's grandfathered in. A new commissioner that joins from now, they won't get an insurance.
It seems hypocritical if a new guy doesn't get it, but a guy that's been on for a number of years, his seat is up and he runs again. Why shouldn't it be an automatic?
He's a new commissioner, isn't he?
This is new to me. When was this discussed?
Oh, it's been a year ago.
Well, Dave, in fact, I remember here a while ago, you went on the record saying, I'm going to be retiring and I'm going to probably not run for commissioner again, but say you run again for commissioner, do you expect to get the insurance?
I would expect to get the insurance, and I would expect the new guy to get the insurance.
Well, it didn't sound like it, unless I don't hear too good.
Unless I'm losing my mind and don't remember it,
Yeah.
the conversation.
We had a conversation about it, but we never voted or did anything on it.
Well,
Yep.
Because I had brought it up asking about that, if that was an expense that we could save money on to help cover some of our other expenses.
And it's been like
It's been a
long
while.
time.
The only
I
benefits.
don't remember it, so.
But we grandfathered in, the ones that had the insurance that were,
Is that a single policy, just the
Single policy.
commissioner? It's not a family?
No.
I think that's when it came up
It's
because
not a family.
it's not, I know that conversation come up when we moved that we had the employees be able to get a family plan. We definitely said the commissioners did not get a family plan.
and that was during COVID because we had that discussion over at the Armory.
That was before me, so I don't.
Yeah. The only other benefits that I know of is that you get to go to the pool for free.
Oh, now you tell me.
I didn't find out one day till I went to go pay my dues to get in, so, just like I didn't find out we got free dumping at the dump either till I went to go do it.
No, not according to Kathy.
That's why I wanted to bring up about,
Yeah.
are we gonna do the insurance or not? I think.
Well, maybe we should have that discussion again before the election, before we get a new person in the seat.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
say, we need to revisit that because
Yeah.
we had that big discussion.
I think it was special, not a special meeting, but at one meeting, you should designate, this is what's gonna happen. So it's fair to him and you. Because right now, I'll almost swear I got a guy that will come up here and say that city residents can use machinery from the city shop.
I'm just the opposite. I use my snow blower to help blow the streets over by our place.
I don't know that city residents would be covered
Yeah, I don't-
under our insurance.
Previously,
I don't think that's true, and, like I just said, it's not a policy here that they can do that.
I don't think it would be
Would you
covered
run
under
if you
insurance.
wouldn't get it?
Pardon?
Would you run if you don't get it?
Yep,
Huh?
yep,
That's good to know.
I will.
because all of a sudden, it seems like we got interested people wanting to be on the city commission. And the one guy come to me with some of these questions, and I said, hell, I don't know, I'm just up there asking questions. But let's get it all clarified before not the last week before the election either.
You're absolutely correct.
I said it before and I'll say it again, like Jim's crew is full-time crew and, our city employees are full-time crew. I'm all for giving them that because I know one thing, it costs a heck of a lot of money to train people. If you can give them good benefits, decent pay, and keep them, you're gonna be farther ahead.
Yeah, and this is nothing against any of the employees, this is just, it irked me when I could see a guy across the street running a backhoe, and I was so, city people can go get that when they want it. I mean, he ain't better, I pay more taxes in town than he probably does.
See, and I don't think they should have because I don't think he would be covered under our insurance if
Insurance.
something would happen.
I know, but it's hypocritical if you just don't do that, you just don't let a piece of machinery.
Right.
And all our equipment is marked now
No,
with the emblems. So, like Adam's got a backhoe that's comparable to ours. There's quite a few. So you gotta make sure which,
Absolutely,
know.
I agree.
Well, we've got the best city crew, and I'm not just saying because Jim's here, I've said it to him before. We do, you look out, the snow is gone. Now we got, what is it, extra plow or something, what is it that you use? I mean, God, you get up in the morning, the street's clear, you can go to work or whatever, I don't go to work, but for those, and the streets are clean, and we wanna keep them.
Okay, yep, we do. And Ashley's exactly right, that I don't expect anybody that's not a city employee to be having, we had this discussion with Ray when he was kind of quasi about using the snow blower to clear stuff around here, and we had to go, well, you're not a city employee anymore, so you can't do that. So I think from an insurance purpose, if there is an issue like that that comes up, we need to know about it so that we can, you know, make sure that we correct it, because I'd be worried that if something happened, the liability, the insurance liability that we would have would be pretty huge, and we don't want any increases in our insurance going forward. So again, we'll try to be, you know, use the bird's eye to make sure that that's not happening. And if it does happen, somebody give us a call or something so we can take care of it. Anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mike seconds. We're adjourned.